Oh yeah, barbecue season is upon us. Or, if you're like me, you're now simply grilling without wearing the long johns because barbecue is a 365 deal even here in Calgary. Regardless, now is the time to inject a brisket or brine a chicken, bust out the smoker, and fire up the grill to cook something beautiful. Oddly enough, even with our prevalent cattle ranching and agricultural history, Calgary is seldom synonymous with delicious barbecue. Today, to get things fired up, we're talking tips, methodology, and the tools of barbecue culture. Hey Calgary, thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Chorney. As you may have guessed tonight, we're not talking about veganism. We're talking a little bit of barbecue, and I'm joined by, well, some of the pros around town here. I got Chad Ayers from Big T's Barbecue. We're here with Aaron Dunn from Barbecues Galore and Arlen Smith from the Palomino Smokehouse. Gentlemen, thank you all very much for being here. Maybe I'll start with you, Chard. Tell me about Big T's. What's going on these days and your role over there?
Well, I'm the general manager of Big T's. We've got 2 full-service restaurants now. We've got a quick-service restaurant at the farmers market. We've got a food truck. We've got a thriving
main restaurant, the big one.
Yeah, the big one. Yeah, at McMahon Stadium there. We got a great catering business going on as well now.
You guys are catering now too.
Catering, yep, it's going crazy.
It's kicking some butt over there.
Yeah,
thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it. Arlen, tell me about the Palomino. What's new over there? What's going on?
Same sort of thing, you know. We're barbecuing tons of meat and feeding tons of people. Doing lots of catering, and I mean, with the Palomino, it's always rock and roll as well. So, you know,
good stuff.
Keeping it slow and low, and
taking your time getting it done.
Yeah,
awesome. Aaron, what are you guys doing over at Barbecues Galore? I know you've been there a little bit. What's your role over there?
Well, I'm the assistant manager at the South Store.
Yeah.
Just been pushing out furniture, barbecues, you name it. Fire pits have been really popular this year, so selling lots of fire pits and getting people excited about being in their backyard.
Obviously, you've got a real passion for barbecue yourself then, yeah?
Yeah, I do.
Clearly. You all do, I would imagine. Naturally.
Yeah,
I have a problem.
I would hope so, yeah. I mean, arguably, cooking meat over an open fire is probably one of the last bastions remaining of a time, you know, a harder time, probably forgotten by now, right? Why does the cookout seem to be, it just continues to flourish even to this day with all the technology we've seen? Why is that cookout still so prevalent in our lives, do you think?
It's kind of like a innate thing. Homo erectus was cooking on fire, you know, and it's just been something that we've done throughout our whole history. And as the barbecue has evolved and we've come with more and more technology and stuff like that, it's just got better and better as it becomes tastier and tastier all the time. But
is there something about barbecue? What is it you think that brings people together, Arlen?
Well, I mean, it's the communal aspect of gathering around a big meal.
Yeah.
You know, it's long-standing traditions from when they first started taking cheap cuts of meat and turning them into delicious food to feed, you know, large groups of poor people that couldn't afford to have someone cook them a meal. So
it is that though, isn't it? It's a lot of that sense of community, Aaron, where you know, used to be old villages, obviously back in the day, tribes, people even, you know, across the globe though too. It's still uniting people, isn't it?
Yeah, no, you just get people around a fire and around a grill and around cooking meat on
Everyone
fire.
loves to eat.
They love that
meat,
smell,
right?
and it just brings people outside. I mean, when I'm cooking on my barbecue at home and have people over, it's like it's a meeting place almost, and you just have to have the cooler on standby, and you're all set.
Yeah, the coolers. That's a good point. That's a good point there.
Yeah. We sell those.
Nicely done. Well played. Well played. So Alberta is definitely known as, you know, cattle country when it comes to Western Canada, but we're not really on the barbecue map per se. Why is that? Arlen, what do you think?
Well, I think because Alberta's known for great cuts of meat.
Yeah.
AAA steak, tenderloin, prime rib. Barbecue's not about great cuts of meat. Barbecue's about pork butts, brisket. You know, the stuff that people used to throw away, you know, and rich folk would throw the bad cuts of meat away and poor people would pick them up, marinate them, smoke them, and turn them into something that's a lot better than a great cut of steak.
Is that a common misconception?
Well, that's the thing. Like you take like a bad piece of meat that you wouldn't traditionally take. You wouldn't cut a brisket and grill it. You know what I mean? Because it just doesn't have any fat to it. But you take it and you love it. You marinate it. You smoke it. Seriously, you really do. And you take like days to do this, and it turns it into something amazing. You know, and it's just that I don't know, that feeling that you get when you create that, and everybody, you know. they breathe it in and smell it. It's just kind of like, it's love, it's like it's being taken care of.
It's instinctual. You want to be there. At least I know I do.
Yeah.
Is there a misconception though about barbecue? People think grilling, that's the end all to barbecue. They don't really understand the other facets of barbecue.
Well, I think you see a lot of cooking shows on TV, people smoking now and using charcoal instead of just using a gas barbecue. So I think it's really opening people's minds to that sort of thing. So I know before I worked at Barbecues Galore, I had never even thought about cooking on charcoal, and then I just got hooked on it, like just by talking to people about it, and then I bought myself a green egg with all my wedding cash. It was awesome.
Oh, man, the wife must have loved that. Nice play.
She loves everything I cook.
I was going to touch on a little bit about the great barbecue cultures like in Texas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're outside smoking all year round. Here in Canada, obviously, our climate doesn't lend itself to that.
Smaller window.
Exactly. We've got a much smaller window sort of thing. Like we've got commercial smokers, so we can do it indoors all the time, but your average Calgarian isn't going to be out in his backyard smoking for 14 hours, right? They're just not going to do that.
Well, hey,
minus 40.
He's going to tough it out with long johns and the rest of it, right?
Exactly.
It's hard to control temperatures when it's 20
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't matter how good your product is outside in the backyard, whereas in Texas, where it's 35 degrees all year long, it's easy to keep a smoke going, right? So,
Makes a lot of sense. Folks, we're going to jump to a quick break and check in with a rant pack. Stay with us.
One of my favorite things when it comes to, I guess, barbecues in summer and that sort of thing has to do with these hot dogs that my mom used to make, where, it's super simple. You just essentially, you cook the hot dogs so they're not completely cooked on the barbecue, and then you slice them in half and you let them kind of broil on a lower heat with barbecue sauce on it. And it really seems to soak in the flavor of the barbecue sauce and everything like that. I enjoy them so much, I don't even eat them with a bun. I just mow down on them with just the way they are. But given the choice, I would say that summer isn't my favorite time of year. I actually prefer the winter. I'm really big into outdoor sports, and I'd be happy if we never got any colder than -10 and never any hotter than +15. I think that would be great.
Okay, so Jay, again, he touched on grilling, right? But that's not what is all-encompassing about barbecue culture. Give me the rundown. What is really required for true barbecue?
Real barbecue?
Real barbecue, real deal barbecue. What are we talking about? What are all the elements involved?
Just meat, wood, low and slow is the common sort of keywords,
Yeah.
Smoking.
When you say low and slow, low temperature.
Low temperature for a long, long time. I mean, you smoke a brisket for 14 hours, 16 hours. You smoke a pork butt for 14 hours. You're not making real, honest to goodness barbecue in 30 minutes.
No. Not happening. You're grilling a burger. You're grilling a steak.
You can grill.
Huge difference. Huge difference.
Yeah, you want to do low and slow. That's what breaks down all the muscle tissue over time, and then that's going to fall off the bone and give you that nice cut of meat in the long run.
Delicious, on those cheaper cut of meats that we were talking about earlier, sort of thing. You couldn't do that with a tenderloin. If you did it with a tenderloin, it would just fall apart, right? Sort of thing. So totally. That's why you need the cheaper cuts of meat to do that.
If I'm cooking on gas, like if I am going to grill, am I using charcoal? Am I more closer to true barbecue culture? Is charcoal playing a bigger role, you think, nowadays than most people realize? Is it vital, I guess?
I think it's picking up. A lot of people have still a lot of preconceived notions that it takes a long time to light charcoal. Mm-hmm. It's not really worth it. The temperature goes all over the place. But there are some good technologies out there, and you can get charcoal lit in a matter of minutes now. It's not as hard as it used to be with lighter fluid and paper.
Yeah, it was almost a disaster waiting to happen before. Depending on who you are, right?
Yeah, it's like the Griswold family barbecue.
Old Clark Griswold, that's right.
Exactly.
Lose your eyebrows.
You think about pigs or pork, right? Fat and protein wise, it seems essentially pork is the ideal meat for barbecue. Is it arguably the original barbecue meat, pork?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you go back in the history of it, absolutely, because pigs were running wild basically, and they'd let them run wild when food was low. They couldn't feed the pigs, and they'd just go hunt them down and grill them over or smoke them and stuff over thing. Like every farmhouse had a smokehouse that was set ahead.
The pig on the spit, of course, all over the world.
Exactly, and that's meat on a stick is a traditional way of cooking, obviously, sort of thing. Like I said, all over the world for history. So
is that a big part of what you're doing over at the Palomino? You want to keep that tradition alive? You want to make sure it's celebrated?
Absolutely, and I mean, to me, the pig is the king of meat.
Yeah.
I'll take a good cut of pork over a steak any day of the week.
Like, is that so?
Oh, absolutely.
Like pork belly? I mean, what are we talking here? Pork loin?
Pork belly, pork loin, pork ribs, pork butt,
bacon.
Bacon.
Oh, yeah, bacon.
You know, the jowls, there's a little muscle inside the cheek that is probably the greatest piece of meat on the planet in my mind. Like it's everything about that animal is great.
You can't talk barbecue without talking pork.
Yeah.
Clearly. Smoked meat, I mean, we've all enjoyed smoked whatever, ribs, brisket, whatever might be the case. What all is involved though in smoking from start to finish? I mean, if I've got which I do, I've got an electric smoker at home. I'm using wood chips. I'm not quite as involved as the panel clearly here tonight. But you know, for a guy who's starting out, wants to get into smoking, what are we talking about? What kind of equipment are we looking for? What needs to be done for that true, authentic smoked barbecue flavor?
Comes down to what you're using though too.
I think
fair enough. Sure, let's talk equipment.
I think the very first thing you can do if you have like just a cheapo gas barbecue in your backyard, you can just wrap up some wood chips that are soaked for an hour or two, and wrap them in tin foil and poke some holes in the bag and throw it on the grill. That's probably the simplest thing you can do.
Simple, but you're not necessarily going to really get that smoke infusion.
No, you're going to get a little bit of flavor, but it's not the same as cooking with charcoal and wood chunks.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about that then. So I'm deciding, you know what, I want to give the charcoal a shot. I walk into Barbecues Galore. What am I looking for? What do I need to pick up before I leave that store today if I'm going to be grilling?
Besides a big green egg,
smoke.
But no,
big green egg. Okay.
Yeah. So no, like you look at ceramic smokers. You can look at double-walled steel. Like Weber's got a Smoky Mountain. Okay. That's really popular. I mean, if you want to be super lazy, you can get a couple electric smokers.
Thanks a lot, dude.
No, sorry. There's lots of different options, but they give you a lot of good flavor too. Yep. But there's lots of options as far as if you want to how hands-on you want to be.
Okay, so the green egg you mentioned. Are you using the green egg?
No, I can't afford a green egg.
Something similar though.
I have a double-walled. I have a Weber Smoky Mountain cooker at home.
At home, okay. So
and I'll be honest, I use it twice a year now because I have a giant smoker at the Palomino. And now I've gotten so lazy, I'm just like, here, put this in there. I'll come back and get it in a couple hours.
So I don't feel so bad being lazy with the electric then. When we talk about the green egg though, so guys they're grabbing charcoal as well.
Yep.
And it's going to regulate the heat, or are they watching this?
So the big thing with the green egg is it's all ceramic. So that's what the heat is going to absorb into that ceramic, and that almost does all the cooking for you. Cool. But you don't have to add charcoal as you go with like a Smoky Mountain. You load it up with charcoal the one time, and it'll burn for like 10 to 15 hours. Like it'll just keep chiming along.
So what am I using wood-wise? It depends on what protein I'm cooking. If I'm doing a chicken, I'm going to smoke a chicken. Right, so what am I reaching for? A little applewood, hickory? What do you recommend?
Well, as we were talking about earlier, applewood is easier to get in Alberta. Obviously, Okanagan's right there, so you get a big supply of applewood. Throw a little bit of hickory in there for flavor and stuff like that. Cherry wood is not as available, eh? Like I don't know what you're finding about sources.
You can find the cherry wood. Yeah. I love the flavor of applewood. Yeah. I mean, Barbecues Galore has great selection. If you're not doing it on a commercial scale, chunks of, walnut, cherry, mesquite, hickory,
and even play with it. I mean, a lot of times, like for us to say this is the only way to do it is
silly. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like what works for you, what you like, what flavors you like. If you're smoking a chicken and you like hickory, like I've had guys do pork with maple. It really depends on what your flavors are, what you like, sort of thing.
That's cool. There's a lot of room to get creative.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's what we found when you travel around and stuff like that and talk to other barbecue enthusiasts. They have all these little tips and tricks and rubs and things that they do, and they're passionate about it, and it's really awesome to talk about it. Nobody's holding their secrets or the recipes to their chest. Everybody's like,
this is really inclusive.
Yeah, right. Like, this is what we do, and you should try this.
There aren't really any more secrets. Everybody knows people, you can talk about your secret barbecue rub all you want, but it's either salt and pepper or it's salt and pepper with paprika and a few other things. It's not what it was 20 years ago, and it's
that's cool. It's a community.
Sharing the knowledge and let everybody do it.
So it should be, right?
Yeah.
Folks, we're going to jump to another break and check in with the Rant Pack, I believe. We're taking a break either way. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Summer cuisine. Are we all looking forward to it? I'm certainly looking forward to it. I have this great recipe. It's called trash can ribs. You can find it online. It's really, really good. It's basically everything in the kitchen sink and some pistachios and a whole bunch of jalapenos and boiled ribs, and then you put them on the barbecue and cover them with nuts, and they are fantastic. Also, no watermelon, because that stuff's poison. I'm kidding. I just hate it.
So, I heard Julie mentioned boiled ribs and just some scowls. So is there some clear do's and don'ts when it comes to authentic barbecue people should probably be aware of if they want to get the most out of the experience?
Would you boil a tenderloin?
No.
Then why would you boil ribs?
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. What are some of the other do's and don'ts then, I suppose?
You got to be careful that your product doesn't dry out too in the whole process, right? So you got to keep an eye on it, and we wrap it, of course, to part way through, make sure the moisture's in there, because you don't want dry product. You don't want dry brisket, dry pork, dry ribs, stuff like that. So
don't cut the fat off.
Yeah,
fat's important.
Sure.
Fat is flavor.
Like without fat, don't try and cook it for 16 hours because it's just going to be a hot shoe.
Yeah.
And I find that less is more with wood. Like if you're adding smoky flavor, you don't need to add a whole bag of wood chunks to get your roast. You just start with a few and see how far that goes. And otherwise, it'll be a little bit overpowering sometimes.
And again, play with it. Whatever works for you, sort of thing. If you like more smoke, throw more. Give it more smoke, sort of thing. So.
Okay, so for the average Joe or Jill at home that wants to smoke a proper brisket, so they've went out, they grabbed their green egg or the lazy electric smoker, and they're looking to smoke a brisket from start to finish. What's the process? I want to know, are we rubbing? What are we doing here? How are we getting it done proper?
Once again, your secret rub, whatever it's going to be, sort of thing. But we like to marinate the brisket because it is a tough cut of meat, sort of thing. So we marinate ours for 48 hours. I don't know.
2 days?
Yeah, 2 days marinate, sort of thing. And then, it's rubbed and put in for 14 hours at a really low temperature, 120, 130. And it breaks it down and makes it a great tasting.
How long are you cooking it for? Is that an industry secret?
No, like 13 hours, 14 hours.
Secrets,
No secrets. No, we don't have to hide anything. Yeah. We talk about it. Yeah.
Well, and we don't brine.
You don't brine.
We don't brine any meat.
Okay.
For one, I just don't have the space for it.
Yeah.
It would be a nightmare.
So to be clear though, brine, same thing as marinade.
Yeah, brine you just
liquid.
basically you throw it in a bucket of salty water and it absorbs a bunch of water.
That's how I do my chicken too. Yeah.
So but we do it, and you don't cut the fat cap off.
Leave it on.
Leave the fat cap on.
Yeah.
Leave that center cut of fat through it on, and when you smoke it, make sure the fat's up. Fat side's up.
When up. I'm recording the show. This is great. Perfect.
Don't take notes.
Yeah, and the fat will just render into the meat, and that's what helps keep it tender. So.
Yeah.
Nice. Are you rubbing your brisket at home? You rubbing it up proper?
Yeah, you got to rub that brisket.
You got to do it, eh?
Yeah, dry rub. Yeah, for sure.
What about injection kits? Obviously, you guys sell them over at Barbecues Galore. I picked one up myself. When's the right time to use an injection kit?
In a competition.
When is that right? I mean, if I'm doing anything at home, I'm cooking at home. Should I be reaching for the injection kit?
You could. I mean, it's like we've been saying this whole time. It's experimenting. You get to try different things. I've never used an injection marinade before.
You haven't done it?
No, but I'll probably try because that's the beauty of experimenting with this kind of stuff. But we have those those needlers.
Essentially, it's a big plunger. It looks like a tranquilizer needle you'd expect a horse to deal with.
Yeah.
Right? It's huge, and you put your marinade in there. And of course, you can purchase these marinades, or you can make them themselves. Make them yourself, whatever, and away you go. Are you a marinade guy, an injection guy? And obviously not a marinade guy with the brisket.
With all of it. I'm
right?
pretty much a purist. I just want the flavor of the meat and simple rubs.
Cool.
And that's all I want.
Cool beans. All right, fair enough.
You can put sauce on it afterwards if you like, but I'm
sauce on the side.
Totally. I'm a purist with that. So.
What about self-chart? Are you doing a little injection as well? Just a straight marinade time to time?
Yeah, just the brine, the marinade, and smoking it, sort of thing. Like I said, the flavor of the meat is awesome. So, let it speak for itself, right? You don't have to cover it up with anything. So,
I want to talk a bit. We're going to go back to grilling a little bit here, guys. Do you need that rotisserie for your grill? Is it a requirement? I see you laughing, Arlen.
I've got one on mine at home.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice to rotisserie a chicken every once in a while.
Yeah, tasty, right?
You know, gets that skin nice and crispy.
Yeah.
It's good.
See, because I had a barbecue for years without a rotisserie, right? And then made the trip to Barbecues Galore. Amazing customer service, by the way. Oh, you guys are killing it up here, by the way. Yeah, you're doing pretty well. But it's night and day. You know, like not having a rotisserie on your grill to me is like having a hockey bag full of equipment without a can. It's essential, you know. Yeah. When I am going to cook, say, a prime rib roast, how am I cooking the perfect prime rib roast? On my rotisserie at home. I've got my rub. It's over there. I'm doing 15 minutes, a pound at about 280 degrees. I know I'm talking real specific here. I'm hoping to learn a little something myself.
Sounds like you got it figured out.
Yeah, I was just saying that's pretty much it.
No hints, no tips you can give me on how to perfect that prime rib roast a little bit more on the rotisserie?
Once again, prime rib is something you do low and slow for hours sort of thing, right?
Take
It's
your
not something,
time,
you can't rush it at all sort of thing. It is a highly marbled cut, so you're going to get all that marbling that's going to melt through it, and that's what's going to give it its flavor, of course. So, yeah. But
I had one customer bring up having a drip pan dish underneath it while it was rotisserie. If that's the proper terminology.
Rotating on the spit.
Rotating on the spit, but it was like touching the juices as it was going through. So I was like, that's pretty cool.
That's clever.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
You could probably throw a little beer or something in there and get a little steam going into it too.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Excellent. See, tips. Appreciate it, guys. We're going to jump to our final break, folks. Stay with us.